Welcome back to Andertons TV. Today's video is on the DSM Humboldt Simplifier Mark II.
There you go, Mr. Lee.
Tasty chops.
Tasty chops.
Welcome back, as I said, to Andertons TV. We are going slightly South American today. Thank you so much to the lovely people from DSM Humboldt for continuing the tradition of bringing us a beautiful bottle of Chilean wine on every trip. So yeah, if you can't afford one of the pedals, at least try some of the wine from that country.
It is beautiful.
So, 3 or 4 years ago, we came across a product called the DSM Simplifier. It's this white one here.
Yep.
And it's kind of like an amp in a box, right? So the idea being is you'd plug your guitar in, you might have some pedals, and you'd take these two, XLR outputs or one XLR output, and you'd go into a desk or into a PA or whatever, and it emulates a guitar amplifier.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy new there. Lots of products do that on the market. But what the DSM did that was a little bit different to anything we'd tried before was it was all analog.
We like analog.
We like analog. And although, again, there are some fantastic sounding digital products out there. In fact, there are tons and tons now. The one thing that struck us as soon as we plugged into the original Simplifier was the fact that there's just no latency, and the feel is you're so connected. You're connected in a way that's you're used to feeling connected to with regular guitar amplifiers. So DSM Simplifier Mark I was incredibly popular. We sold hundreds and hundreds of them. They released a base version, a deluxe version.
Yeah, awesome stuff.
All really cool. But 2023, April 2023, we're excited to see the evolution of this product into the Mark II. So, what you heard in that opening jam was Pete playing the Simplifier Mark II on its more sort of Marshall-y setting. So,
Delicious.
I guess
dynamics.
Feel free to use the timestamps below if you just want to skip straight through to the playing parts of this video. But I think I ought to try and sort of explain a little bit about what the differences are between Mark I and Mark II before we get into it.
But before we do that, please like and subscribe. You can win a real con to plug into your Simplifier Mark II if you get one of those as well.
So the concept of Simplifier Mark I was 3 different preamp styles, 3 types of output tube, the ability to adjust the mic placement on your speaker cabinet and choose whether or not you wanted it to emulate a 212, a 412 or a 112. A little bit of EQ, send and return. Basically, it was all the things that you would find on a regular guitar amplifier, I suppose.
But how they've managed to crank all that into that little box is incredible. It's beyond me. With all of those inputs and the
I mentioned the feel being something that traditional guitar players liked, but actually also the fact that there are no menus, no Bluetooth apps or anything. It's like, that's it.
Yeah.
The switches and the knobs do everything that it does. Anyway, I don't know that this is really a criticism. It's probably more of the way the Simplifier Mark I was designed, but it was designed to be a clean version of each of these amplifiers, so that even on its gainiest setting, the Marshall setting, it didn't really do anything more than a sort of slightly broken up kind of vintage sounding Marshall would go, and it was very much designed to be used with pedals.
Yeah.
So the first thing that is immediately obvious on the Mark II is that it's the complete amp now, really, on each of the settings. So you've still got your AC style, your American style, and your British style. So obviously, for copyright reasons, have to be careful what you say. But I think we're okay to say is obviously a Voxy one, a Fendery one, and a Marshall one.
Yeah.
And the gain levels of those amplifiers now built into the Mark II are much more representative of the gain that you would actually get in those amplifiers if you cranked them. We have a new feature now in a power amp drive, is a new knob, which wasn't on the old one. And again, a really cool kind of red valve LED that lights up to show you when the power amp is clipping. So it's not when the pedal itself is clipping in a bad way.
Not a bad clip.
It's like,
it's a nice clip.
You know, as you can feel that kind of compression and extra saturation coming through the power amp being driven. We've still got the 3-band EQ, we've still got the presence and the resonance. We've now got an overall master volume that controls both the power drive and the preamp drive. And we have got now the cabinet, the mic placement has been removed and replaced with an actual emulation of the type of speaker in the cabinet. The guys at DSM Humboldt said that the mic placement perhaps had some of the settings were too extreme, and that has been dialed back a bit to make it a bit more usable. But we now got essentially the option on each cab to choose between a black Eminence style Fender-y kind of speaker, a blue back, or a green back Celestion.
And really importantly,
yes,
I'm just about to go there. This is
obviously huge.
This is for you.
Yes, this is my personal signature feature been built into it. We now have reverb built in, which we didn't have on the Mark I. And there's a couple of other things. I mean, I think you can see graphically it's slightly nicer looking. And what they've also done now is all of this, well, I say all of them. There are 4 switches on there with 3-way positions. And the Mark I, some of the switches went up and down and some went left and right, and there was no real sense of them being terribly joined up. What's quite nice on here, they all go up and down, and the upwards position is always the Fender-y style. Always the Voxy style. Yeah. The middle position is always the Fender-y style, and the downward position is always the Marshall style.
And that makes the perfect sense. That's how amps are in real life, isn't it? Fender is always middle down the road, and then you got Vox, and then you got Marshall. Perfect.
One other feature as well that has been added to this is if you use the 1/4-inch jack outputs on the back, you can have one set to be the speaker emulated version that would go to front of house, and you can have the other set to be a non-emulated buffered output to go to, say, the effects return of a regular guitar amplifier. Enough talking. We are using a stereo balanced output into our DI. So everything you've heard so far is just straight into the DI. And we've got Pete's normal pedal board coming into the front end with the modulation and ambient effects going through the effects loop. So
clever.
And I will, at some point in this video, jump over to the Mark I to just give you a comparison as to how they sound. So, okay, so we'll start now on our Fender-y sort of settings. Let's go a little clean vibe here. Let's just get a level, and you can just show us how it reacts with all your pedals.
And I can also say this is a Fender limited edition Player Series Stratocaster. So nice and responsive and attentive.
Attentive?
Lovely reverb there.
It's a good reverb, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a nice reverb.
This is
Christmas.
Even the reverb is analog, tiny, tiny springs in it. No,
tiny little springs in it.
The reverb is, of course, a bit of digitalness in this pedal. Everything else is analog.
It sounds really nice, man.
Yeah.
And there's that feel. There is that analog feel when, you know, I'm going, there's no pedals on right now, so it's just straight in. There's that harmonic spectrum of tones and feel when you play with your fingers and two pick. It's my new favorite chord, that one.
I think
Sounds great, man.
I tell you what, I was trying to decide, should we go through the settings and then try the pedals? But I think we'll stay on the Fendery settings.
Yeah.
And now just one
want a bit
of the
of a-
things again,
gonna try with the
analog does, I think as well, is that sense of like, it's just going, put pedals in me, I don't care. You know, it's, you haven't got to worry. You haven't got to worry about that whole kind of, oh, is my fuzz going to sound okay? And
but that's, we got the two. I've got the fuzz here on the floor, so we can do that in a minute.
Yeah.
But let's just try the tube scream or the Halcyon. So without on the bridge.
Oh!
Yeah. I mean, it's good.
Like
Maybe a little
it.
bit too much reverb there for that kind of sound, but yeah. Let's just try the Dane, because it's a little bit more gainy. That's a nice. This is a good sound, isn't it? But the big test is.
Can it do the metal zone?
The
fuzz. No,
the
you're
fuzz,
right.
okay.
Yes.
I think it can.
It can.
Can it do the other fuzz?
Can. Did you see that? I timed that. Pete made it nearly 6 minutes into a video without touching the cloudburst pedal. That's a new world record.
I just cloudbursted all over the video again. I couldn't hold it, Lee.
So,
it's
right.
typical.
Okay, let's try now. The
sounded great, man.
The AC mode
so
obviously is voxy sounding, and there's quite a clever sort of nod towards how the tone stack on an AC30 would work. So on the Vox mode, the mid control is now bypassed. There's nothing. And the presence control becomes like the high cut would do on an AC30, which I kind of think is cool. So let's just go to blueback speakers in a 212. Of course, you can mix and match this. You can have Fender speakers in 4x12s on Vox amplifiers if you want to. It's up to you.
It's up to you.
But let's just get a sound here.
So Voxy now, yeah? So Voxy, you should really take the
I see all the reverb off. All right then.
But of course,
We need
you
reverb,
would have
don't we?
been
I'm
back,
going.
Sorry, go on.
I'm going to just try and get it gained up a little bit. I suppose the classic is power amp drive is what you really want on.
What you really,
on your
really want.
AC30
Tell me what you want.
For your Brian May kind. God, you can really hear the compression, can't you, of the power amp
I
driving.
love it. Yeah, it's really good. Take that out. Dialing it down, dialing it back. Bask in the ambience.
We
great,
always,
man.
we
Sounds
always
great.
assume that all Brian May songs are done with an AC30. I don't. Do we know that categorically?
We
for a
don't know.
fact? We don't know
know
that, do
unless we ask Mr.
No.
Sir. Is it Sir now? Is it
Sir Brian
Is he
May.
Lord? Or is he Sir
Brian
Brian?
May, Sir Brian Adams even.
Sir Brian Adams.
I'm getting my Brians mixed up. Right, let's go martially. So everything flicked down now. We'll wind the speakers onto greenbacks. So we've got 4 12s now, and here we go.
I'm dialing it down again.
That's interesting as well, because
I like
certainly earlier digital products, what they could never replicate properly was the dialing down of the volume, wasn't it? And even now, I think some digital
of them
products
are
just
still like,
can't do
I
it.
don't know where it is because I don't know how to react
But
with
let's
this.
just do
AI.
do that demo a bit more.
AI sounds. With the tubes coming in front, maybe.
Yeah.
Oof, 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 oof,
A
oof.
lot of pedals. Okay, so I think that's a pretty comprehensive rundown of what the new Simplifier Mark
Sounds
II
wicked,
does.
man. Sounds great. Fits right on the board there as well.
I'm such a fan of this. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
it just sounds great. I should also say as well that one of the things we've also done this morning is switched out our speakers in the room for a pair of Genelec 8040s, and holy moly, that's
That
made a
makes a
big
difference.
difference as well. So we are in yes,
Big smiles.
We're in happy ways. So right, just to quickly finish again. I kind of feel like there are going to be 2 customers for the Simplifier Mark II. There's going to be those who are new to the whole idea of replacing traditional guitar amplifiers with something like this for a, perhaps because you want to use it at home. I should say you got headphone output here, so you could put this at the end of your board, power it off of your normal 9-volt supply. Pair of headphones in there. Great solutions you're just putting on the end of a board like Pete's.
Absolutely.
Or right through to a professional level of either recording or playing live using the speaker emulated outputs.
I'll just put it in your bag when you're going somewhere, in case your amp breaks down.
So, but I also think there'll be a lot of people, as not least the hundreds and hundreds of people that Andertons has sold a Mark I to over the years, just going, do you know what? I quite like the extra features on here. Maybe it's time to eBay the old one and dive in with the new one. So let's just give you a quick idea of, I'm going to go back to the kind of the Fender sound on here and just give you a sort of a quick comparison of the... Fine, so we're back in the room. I've set the 2 up on their Fender modes. You eagle-eyed amongst you have realised that I've now put Pete's effects loop through Mark I because Mark I doesn't have any reverb. Yes. Perhaps this is a good time for me to say as well, if you get to the end of this and you go, you know what? actually the Mark I, all I ever wanted it to do was do the cleaner end of the amplifier side of things, and I've already got reverb, so I don't need it. You'll be pleased to know that the Mark I actually is still going to be available, and it's a teeny bit cheaper. It's about £50 or $50 cheaper than the Mark II.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool as well. So here we go. Here is the Mark I. Here is the Mark II, and on its Fender mode, everything pretty flat, and you're hearing the intro.
I can already tell you that the way I feel it, this feels much more like an amp. It's got this power thing. I think makes a massive difference to the feel.
Put some reverb now on Mark I. I kind of agree with you. When you try the two side by side, Mark I has a slightly more of a DI'd.
Slightly more DI. That's exactly the word I was looking for.
The reverb might take a bit of that off. You know what it is? It's the Mark II has that valve compression thing.
Yeah.
And the Mark I is less doing that. So it feels a little bit more immediate and a little bit less forgiving, doesn't it?
It does feel, it feels, I prefer the feel of Mark II. I can feel that this thing here when you touch with the is that called, what is that called, the ball of your thumb, or what is that called,
the tip,
the bell,
of your thumb, the bell.
No, is it not the ball or something? Whatever, but you know, because that's, you know, you can with the pick it can be quite hard, but you can
put a little bit of something on it.
A little bit of something, a little bit of
yeah.
Yeah.
I think the more you hit the input
the
stage with something that's a little bit edgy,
yeah,
the more the Mark II feels
I mean,
more natural.
They both sound great.
Yeah,
I mean,
again,
if I didn't have one and I wanted to buy one, I would probably go for Mark II myself. But if I had the Mark I, I don't know if I would go to Mark II. I don't know.
Well, look,
you know,
so
that fits right on the board there.
It's very, very small, isn't it? I don't know if is there an upside to where the outputs are coming now?
Well, maybe if you're like that way and you're putting it underneath the board, which I would probably put it underneath the board, set it somewhere, put it underneath the board. I mean, upside downside.
There we go.
I think it sounds great though. Yeah.
Well, look, let's play out. Why don't you do another loop? Find a, you know, what did we do? The intro loop was quite heavy, so let's just make the outro loop.
Well, cloudburst.
Yes.
Cloudburst all over it.
Absolutely, burst away.
Yeah. Please like, subscribe to win a clon.
Yes, thank you for watching.
And Lee will deliver that.
Thank you again. Formally now,
yes,
the love affair between the UK and Chile continues. I look forward to drinking this over breakfast tomorrow, Mr. Brit.
Absolutely. If I haven't drunk it already when you come in.
Right. Cheers for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.